I just want to take my hat off to Coach DeCoste and Colgate. I thought that they came in and played a really good game. I hope that they came out healthy. He told me that maybe they had an injury or two, and my big thing is just making sure at this part of the year that both teams can come out healthy and not let it upset the seasons that everybody wants to have. Those guys are like brothers. They're 45 minutes away. And I'll do everything I can. And I told him, I said, I can't wait for the off season for the guys to come up and let's talk football and share some things, because I really like him and I like his program, and I wish him nothing but the best.
Questions? We'll start with Emily in front.
65 points today is a scoring record here at Syracuse in your era. I guess just the team today, did you feel like they met, surpassed expectations you had for them going into week one?
I think the main thing is you want to come out with a win. These games are spooky. I thought that definitely Colgate came out of the gate strong, and I want to say we were 3 and out once or twice. I can't remember these games, can't remember everything that went on and how it went on, but I thought that we had some ups, we had some downs, but I am satisfied. I thought the guys played hard overall, even though there was periods when we didn't play as hard as I would like.
Dan, right here.
Coach, just what you took away from Derek Schrader, seeing him back out there, and just what he was able to put out for you on tape today.
Yeah, I think he ended up like 70%, which is really, really good. And, threw an interception, not so good in the end zone. But when you think about all the positives, I don't know, 3 or 4 touchdowns, I can't remember all the stuff that he did. And I'm most proud of him is how he was trying to protect himself for the most part. And sliding, avoiding some hits, and then getting some first downs with his legs, but getting out of bounds and protecting himself, because that's going to be extremely important this year.
Mark,
Coach, can you talk about LaQuinta Allen after the difficult offseason, 107 yards in his first game back? How did he look in terms of replacing Sean?
I don't know if it's fair that we should say replacing Sean, but what I will say is I think that LaQuint has very unique skills. I love the way he's a competitor. You guys, if you guys ever had an opportunity, and you don't because I won't let you, but if you ever watched one of our practice from the beginning of the end, the guy loves football, and he practices the way he plays. What you see on games is what you see in practice, and he doesn't have a second gear. It's always full speed ahead, and he's always energetic. So he's easy to like. He's a good student, and he has had some things that have happened with his dad passing away this year and all. But overall, I think he's a fabulous individual, and we're lucky to have him on our team.
Right over here, we have Chris to Brent.
Dino, Amari mentioned earlier that he was surprised how much they used press man against him, and he took pride in beating that. What did you see from sort of him in that regard?
I thought he did some things well. I thought I've already teased him. He should have scored on the second touchdown. I'm like, but he's good. He got a touchdown last year. I think he only got one last year on a fade on the opposite left-hand corner, opposite of the way we come out. And then this time he got a touchdown. So Umari's doing well, and he needs to continue to get better, and I'm sure he will. But he did okay.
Is there an area he's made the most strides in over the past year?
Okay. You want to hear the answer to that?
Yeah.
He's changed his nightlife. And because he changed his nightlife, he's changed his day life. And now he's different during the day than he was before.
Well, Brent, then Tommy in back.
Dino, I was wondering if you could compare the process getting a win today versus a year ago when you had a league opponent to start off the season.
Well, a win is a win, but anytime you get a league win, that's always big. But I think that if you mix it up, and one time you start with the league game, one time you start with a non-league game, I think that's kind of really cool. But I see it the same way, except that a league game matters. We talked about the team last year, and I'm too old to get frustrated, but I look at it, we finished 3rd in the ACC Atlantic last year, and people seem to forget that. I mean, last time I checked, Clemson was 1st and Florida State was 2nd, and Syracuse was 3rd. So I think that's difficult to do, and league wins are important.
Tommy?
Coach, how are you feeling? What were you thinking about heading out of that tunnel here for the season opener?
Not pulling a hamstring. If you pull a hamstring and those guys are behind you, you're going to get trampled bad. Some of those guys can't move out of the way, and they're heavy. So that's my main thing, not falling down and getting trampled.
We're going to hit the second row here, Josh, and then Michael.
Coach, coming into last year with you having two starters going down in the season opener for the year, how important it was for you to balance that continuity and building that structure with the offense and making sure that you got out of this game healthy?
You know, the main thing was trying to win the football game. Once you win the football game, we wanted to come out of it healthy. Based off of my talks with the trainers right now, I feel that we have accomplished that. Although sometimes the guys can go away, go to bed, wake up in the morning, and something will pop up. It really does exactly happen that way. So far, so good. We got to wait, till they go to bed tonight. We had an opportunity to see them tomorrow. But if we came out of it healthy, compared to last year, that would really be a blessing.
Coach, there are a lot of firsts today. Kendall Long and Darrell Gill had their first touchdowns. Gregory Delaney had his first career pick. What's it like to see those young guys kind of take their first steps in college football?
It's exciting. It really is. They come, they have the young people energy, but and you don't get to see them. And you don't get to see them that much. This doesn't happen a lot in college football where you get an opportunity to play your entire football team for the most part. Now, it's not intramurals where everyone doesn't get to play, but we did get an opportunity to play a lot of guys, and when you play the young guys and they have some success, it's always fun, and now they need to get back into the weight room and get back on the football field and take that early success and grow it into something else, something really meaningful, a career that people can talk about.
Henry, then Anthony.
Coach, it seemed like you guys, especially early on in the game, were blitzing a lot on third down. Just talk to me about what the defensive strategy was against Colgate today.
The 3-3-5 is a movement defense. In that movement defense, you will play a lot of man-to-man. If you got one corner, that's good. If you got two corners, OMG. So we need to find out if we've got two corners, okay, that can cover. And then you're going to say, well, you weren't covering, blah, 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 blah. Well, then the next game, and then the next game, and the next game. We're going to play man-to-man, and they need to be able to cover. With that, we're going to do zones. And we have zone schemes where guys are dropping in and dropping out, and we've got to do those as well. But the key to that, you don't get to see the defense unless you can play man-to-man. So if you got some young high school guys or junior college guys or transfer guys that want to play press man-to-man, they need to get your number, and then you need to call them and let them know how important it is to be able to have that skill at Syracuse University.
Did you think there were two corners today that impressed you?
I thought that we need to go back and check the tape, and they grow so much from their first game to the next.
Coach, can you provide an update on Joe Moore and why he was inactive today?
Joe Moore got his ankle rolled over in practice, and we want to keep him fresh. So we're hoping that he can we didn't want him to play on a sprained ankle, so we wanted to get it fresher and see if he can have an opportunity to play either the next week or the week after.
And then what are your thoughts on the receiver depth below your top two options after today, and did anybody stand out to you?
Well, those guys got some touchdowns. Umari got a touchdown. The young freshman from Texas got a touchdown. Now we got to see if they can do it when the DBs are even better than the ones they faced today. They got to continue to improve.
Got time for a few more. We'll start with Mario and back, then call it back up here to Emily.
Dino, you've had guys like Zaire Franklin at that line in the middle. Sorry, in the back, red shirt. Little guy down here. You've had a guy
I always have trouble finding you. I love
my
you,
whole
Mario.
life, Dino. I love it. I might just ask that question about the ACC right now, but we'll get back to that later.
Love you, Mario. Go ahead.
You've had a guy like Zaire Franklin at middle linebacker, Michael Jones last year. How has Marlo Wax stepped into that role and filled it?
Marlo needs to be the new Karate Kid because he waxes on and he waxes off. And I love Marlo. I think he's going to do a fantastic job. And I think we're going to be really excited. I think he's going to fall in line with Michael Jones and Zaire Franklin. I really do. And, I'll tell this story. Sean Tucker's going to get mad, but when Marlo came in as a freshman, he was a tailback. And Marlo and Sean Tucker had practiced an entire week. And I mean, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm not going to sit here and say that, although I can't pass the exam, Emily. But, I mean, after 7 days, I really didn't know who was better. Now, Sean's going to get mad. They were different styles, but I really didn't know who was better. And then on the 10th day, Marlo said he wanted to play defense. And the whole offensive coaches went crazy. And I'm like, no, if a guy really wants to play something with his heart, you need to let him go play it. And he's been playing defense ever since. But I really believe that Marlo Wax is going to fall right in line with those linebackers you just mentioned. And we're really seeing something that's very unique and very special.
7 penalties, I believe, today. You guys were one of the most penalized teams in the nation last
You
year.
guys.
It's a fact.
It's a fact.
Is that a concern yet for you, or are you kind of like week 1, it's okay, there's going to be some jitters, some mess-ups? When does that get to be a concern for you?
The first quarter, when the second one happened, we did an illegal procedure penalty on one offensive lineman, then we got a second one, and that was a problem for me. Then we came back with the punt return, and we had a guy line up over the center, and then they did it again, and that was a bigger problem for me. So, yeah, those are problems, and I'm popping peas now, and I'm not happy about that. And we're going to go back, and we're going to get the results and solve those problems.
What goes into solving those? Like, is that like a physical thing where you're like running plays and just like every time they mess up, you're trying to get them to go again, or is it more of like a mental thing where you gotta quiz them, drill them?
It's both, and it's either coach correct or it's player corrected. But we're going to get it corrected.
Is it concerning to you that a number of the penalties come on a veteran O-lineman like Chris Bleich?
I think what's concerning is it's a penalty in itself, and we need to eliminate them.
All right, last two, we're going to go to WAR here, and then the fourth row right here.
Dino, before the season, you said that the biggest thing you'd see from the defensive coordinator spot is in-game adjustments. What did you see from the in-game adjustments today?
Okay, did you watch the game that I watched? I mean, they didn't score, right? That's hard to do nowadays. Did they cross the 50? He said one time in the fourth quarter. Yeah, are you asking me how well he did on in-game adjustments? I would say he got an A.
Last question.
Coach, you told us earlier this week.
Fourth row.
Hi. You
See,
told us-
Mario, it's not just you.
You told us earlier this week that you were worried about this game, losing sleep over it. Do you feel a little bit better going into week 2?
Yes, I think we found out about some guys, and now we need to go back and watch the tape, make sure that we have the right guys starting, the right guys backing up the starters, and then maybe we found some 3s or 4s that, because they do some things maybe differently in the game than we've seen them do in practice, that we need to look at them through different eyes. And then there's other people that got out there, and maybe they didn't do as well. And they're a 2, and they need to move down to a 3 or 4, or they're a 1, and they need to move down to a 2. There's a lot of growth that happens from the first game to the second game, the most growth during the season. And the crazy thing about it is that people, I'm going to say this, I'm going to mess up. You guys are going to get me in trouble. But people have a tendency to watch and examine and learn more when they're watching themselves than watching others. So when they get on tape and then you can show them that they're doing it wrong or they're doing it right, they seem to learn faster from that than watching someone else making the exact same mistakes because it's not them. Did that make sense how I said that? She said yes and you went like that. Okay. Is that it?
That's it. Thanks, Coach.
Okay, you guys have a good one. I'm going to have fried noodles.